Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. Today I have yet another book haul. I kind of went a little bit gung-ho and bought a ton of books. So this is going to be my book haul from Book Outlet. I'm going to start with the 3 that I've already read, and then I will talk about the ones that I have not yet read. If you enjoy bookish videos, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can catch all of my bookish content. The first book I picked up at Book Outlet was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I am definitely not the only one who fell in love with this cozy fantasy world where it's just about an orc who wants to open up a coffee shop. And in this fantastical world, people don't know what coffee is. And she gets them to try it. And it's low stakes, very slice of life, and so enjoyable. And I had to have a copy. I cannot wait for the prequel, which comes out in November. So had to pick this up first. I also picked up The Invisible Kingdom by Megan O'Rourke. This is part memoir of her seeking a diagnosis for her chronic illness and part disability essays and talking about what it's like to live in an ableist society where people with invisible illnesses just really don't get the accommodations they need. This was beautiful, eye-opening, and I had to have a copy. So when I found it for like $7, I was like, yes, please. And the last book in this haul that I've already read is Women We Buried, Women We Burned by Rachel Louise Snyder. This is her memoir talking about losing her mom when she was 8. Her father then remarries quickly to a woman who is an evangelical Christian, and he forces the whole family to convert. And this family is just incredibly dysfunctional. They don't talk about their problems. And she gets kicked out when she's a teenager and has to kind of make it on her own. I found this really relatable and very well written. She's also a journalist. She wrote No Visible Bruises, which was an amazing investigative journalist type book about domestic violence. So had to have a copy of this. With these 3 books, I will link videos where I talk more about the books in case you're interested. That will be in the description below. All right. The first book I read is called The Uninhabitable Earth by Davis Wallace Wells. And this is a nonfiction book talking all about climate change, what we have done as a society to really further exacerbate climate change. And it's also a call to action about what we can do to mitigate our effects. I think this is going to be incredibly anxiety producing. But I think that this is an important book and I really would like to read it. I love science fiction and I have really been trying to get more into science fiction classics. This is Contact by Carl Sagan. This is a hard science fiction all about the first contact with aliens trope. I love that trope. I think this has also been turned into a movie, but I haven't seen it. If you've read this book or seen the movie, let me know what you thought of it. Another sci-fi classic I picked up was The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. I have read Fahrenheit 451 by this author, and he is an incredibly skilled author. This, I think, talks about humans. They terraform Mars and wipe out the indigenous species there. Also in the sci-fi genre, I picked up Seven Eves by Neil Stephenson. This is a hefty, chunky book. Like, the first sentence is just so interesting. The moon blew up without warning and for no apparent reason. So, in this book, the moon is breaking up into pieces and raining down basically like asteroid-sized pieces. And there's going to be a point of no return. And so the humans on Earth basically try to get as many people off Earth as possible so that the human race can endure. I saw Sandra over at One for the Books read this, and she really enjoyed like the first 80% of it. She said that towards the end, there's a big time jump, and she was less interested in that part. But she still gave it 4 stars, and so I'm really excited to get to it. I picked up The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James. This is YA. I don't typically read YA, but this sounded really interesting. So it's about a girl, and she is the only person surviving on her spaceship. and she's obviously incredibly lonely. And then out of the blue, she gets communication from a boy who is also in a spaceship on his own, and they start to form this relationship. But it's very curious, like, where did he come from and what are his motives? And I think that sounds really interesting, and so I'm definitely wanting to give it a try. The last sci-fi on this list is The Spare Man by Mary Robinette Kowal. So this woman is on a honeymoon on a spaceship with her husband, and there is a murder, and her husband is accused. They think he's the perpetrator, and so she has to solve the mystery of who murdered this person to kind of clear his name. It sounds really good, and I really like when we have mystery and sci-fi elements together. I picked up Hamra and the Jungle of Memories by Hannah Alkoff. This is a middle grade Malaysian retelling of The Little Red Riding Hood. I read another book by this author earlier this year and absolutely loved it. I love the folklore, I love the characterization, and I just am really excited. This is her newest one, and when I saw it for about $6, I thought, I need to pick that up. I picked up The Seven Moons of Molly Almeida. This won the Booker last year in 2022. And it's about a man who basically wakes up dead. He's a ghost. And he doesn't know how he died, but he has 7 days or 7 moons to kind of finish up any unfinished business. It sounded really interesting, and this is such a gorgeous cover. I had to buy it. I picked up the short story collection Friday Black by Nanakwame Adjei-Brenyah. I read his novel Chain Gang All-Stars and absolutely loved it and thought I need to pick up anything else he's written. Even though I'm not a huge fan of short stories, I think that this will be really good. It is a mix of speculative and horror and focuses on racism, consumerism, and violence against people. I think this is definitely going to be a tough read. But Audrey loved it, and she and I have very similar tastes, so I'm hoping I love it as well. Oh, I'll link Audrey down below. The other YA book I picked up was The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. This is written by an Indigenous person, and I really want to get more Indigenous stories in my reading diet. So this is about an Indigenous girl. She happens to witness a murder, and she goes undercover to try and catch the culprit. Pretty much outside my wheelhouse, but it sounds really good, so I'm excited to try it. I picked up Still Life by Sarah Winman. I have read Sarah Winman's first book, Tin Man, and absolutely loved it. This is set in the 1940s in Italy, and I've heard it's a character-driven, like, family saga, and it just sounds so good. It also has these really beautiful beveled edges, which I love. I know not everybody does. Do you like them? Let me know in the comments. And lastly, I picked up Squire, which is a graphic novel. Beautiful color edition. This is all about a girl who belongs to a marginalized race of people, and she dreams of becoming a knight, which is like the highest you can go in the military. And this is her only path towards citizenship because she is of this other race or caste. But she might be getting more than she bargains for because war is brewing, and with her being in the military, she might be in danger. Looked really good, and a full-color graphic novel, brand new, for $6. How could I pass it up? So those are the 15 books I picked up at Book Outlet. My TBR is now out of control. I am going to, I don't know, I'm not going to go on a buying ban because buying books, it's like buying books and reading books are two different hobbies that overlap somewhat. If you've read any of these books, let me know what your thoughts were on them, or if you just really would like to hear my thoughts, help me prioritize this list. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.